Hello, my lovelies. Namaste. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good day, good night, good life. I want to talk to you today about masking, ADHD and masking. I never thought I was a masker. I never really thought. I thought I was very transparent. Honesty and integrity and authenticity are so important to me. And I always thought that I was living my life like that. However, recently I realized, after having another breakdown, millions of breakdowns, but after having yet another breakdown, I realized I'm not very authentic when it comes to how hard it is to have ADHD and how hard I have to work to do what other people do normally. And I don't like talking about it because I feel like it's going to come off as an excuse. And I'm not the type of person who gives excuses. I'm the type of person who rises to the challenge. And I guess I have been a little bit hard on others, and maybe I do judge others because I'm so hard on myself. I put so much pressure on myself to do what normal people, quote unquote normal people can do, that I can't do. And I have to fight so hard every single day to do what other people think's easy. And so I expect that since I fight so hard every single day of my life for 41 and a half years, that everybody else should too. And that's not okay. It took me having a big breakdown to realize that I shouldn't have to mask. I shouldn't have to hide the fact that simple things are really freaking hard for me. My job, that I'm coming up on a year with them. Actually, it'll be a year tomorrow. It's very chaotic and very hectic, and there's a lot of multitasking or switch tasking, because multitasking isn't real. The only time you can multitask is when your left brain is doing one thing and your right brain's doing another. Like if you it's been scientifically proven that, like, if you're doing something like breathing while talking, that's multitasking. But what most people call multitasking is actually switch tasking. You're going back and forth between two different things, and that destroys the average person's brain. But then with somebody with ADHD, who their prefrontal cortex just doesn't work, the switching gears is so freaking hard for ADHD. It's not just not paying attention, it's hyperfocus. And then I get so hyperfocused on trying to do one task that I can't switch gears to the other task. And then I feel like shit about it, and then I get depressed, and it's a whole horrible cycle, and I hide it. And I try to stay positive, and I do all these things. I do yoga, and I do breath work, I do qigong, I do poetry, I do earthing, I do all these things. I try to eat right. I do all these things to try and deal with the stress of trying to do normal things that are so easy for other people. And it's destroying me. And then I started drinking almost every day again. Not a lot, just a couple drinks here and there, just to deal with that stress and not hate myself and be able to focus. And I mean, I've been drinking since I was 14, so it's normal for me. It's like my brain functions well with alcohol, but it's not healthy and or sustainable, and I don't want to live like that. Before I had this job, I quit drinking altogether. I would have like one drink every 2 or 3 months, and I wasn't craving it. I didn't want it. I tried it, I was just like, you know what? Hey, it's a family, it was Thanksgiving. Why not try it? And I tried it once at a party other than that, but it was not like, oh, I'm so addicted, I need to have it. It was just to see, hey, like, is this still a thing? Do I really like this? And I didn't. And I was okay with it. But then when I got this job, which is, it's the same type of job I had when I was 20 years old. No, 21. Yeah, 21 years old. And then here I am at 41 and I can't handle it. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with me that I can't handle it? And I got into such a negative personality and negative mood, and all these negative thoughts were going in my head from the moment I logged in to the moment I left. And even after that, it would take me hours to de-stress from work. And on the weekends, I was constantly thinking about it, and I'm not hitting my numbers, and there's tons of changes constantly. And then everybody at work, I feel like they're gaslighting me. They might not be, but I feel like I'm being gaslit because everybody's like, oh, well, change is normal, you know, or people around me say, oh, well, you know, change happens everywhere. Well, yeah, but it's so freaking hard with ADHD. And again, I'm not the kind of person who runs away from hard things. So I guess the hardest thing for me is admitting that things are hard for me. I'm used to people, my ego likes it when people think I'm smart and I'm capable and I'm so confident and competent and I can do anything. Oh, and look at her, she overcame all this stuff, she overcame all these tragedies and traumas and adversities, and my ego likes that. So it's really hard for my ego to say I need help when I don't, when I don't even know what kind of help there is available. Like most disabilities at work, you can get help with, or like if I was in school, I could get help for ADHD, like extra time on tests or extra time to turn in assignments. But at a job, when you're measured on how many things you can do per hour, I don't know what help there is. And it took me having a breakdown and having to go to a mental institution to realize it's okay. It's okay that I can't do these things. And it's okay to admit that these are hard for me. But what's not okay is pretending that it's not hard. And what's not okay is trying to force myself into a job that isn't a good fit. There are tons of jobs that are a good fit. I'm an incredibly smart person. I'm an incredibly creative person. And the hyperfocus of ADHD allows me to do, hyperfocus can be such a superpower. It allows me to do stuff within just a couple hours that might take somebody else, you know, a couple days. So, oh, look at that train. I don't know if you heard the train, but that's confirmation. The Holy Spirit, oh God, I'm crying and sniffling, but the Holy Spirit's giving me confirmation that there's a whole other world out there made for people who are neurodivergent. And I don't have to force myself into this little pigeonhole of what everybody else thinks I should be doing. And I just had to get that out there. And hopefully that'll give you some kind of encouragement for whatever it is in your life that you're struggling with, that you think nobody else can relate to, or that you're afraid to tell people about. I come from a family that's very much, you don't admit your weaknesses. You don't talk about problems publicly. You don't talk about traumatic events publicly. You don't talk about anything. You don't air out your dirty laundry. But that causes so much more stress and trauma and absolute craziness that doesn't need to be there. Like not knowing what happened, just even the health issues. Like I didn't know that I have an incompetent cervix and until after my first child died. Like if my parents had told me, hey, by the first time I got pregnant, if they had told me, hey, by the way, we had this issue too. Your mom has an incompetent cervix, and or like a tilted her uterus is tilted backward, and so is your sister's. And we lost 2 children like that. You might lose a child too. I would have taken way more precautions, and so would have my doctors and everything, and I wouldn't have to have a child die to learn that lesson. Like, I don't understand that generation or that mentality of not telling people what's wrong. If you don't tell people what's wrong, how can they help you? However, I did inherit it because, yeah, like, I feel like there are times I feel like the people around me are so tired of me asking for help. So it gets stressful. And then I feel like a burden, and I don't want to ask for help because it's like, well, the last time I asked for help, you turned me down, or you told me I asked for help too much, or we had an argument, and I don't want an argument. So anyway, if you guys have any tips for how to jobs that are good for ADHD, or tips on anything, getting help with it, or any encouraging words, let me know. But I just want to let you guys know I'm going to be making more videos because I'm done with not being myself. So I'm going to blow the lid off and just be me. I hope you all have a wonderful, fantabulous day. Namaste, my lovelies. God bless you all. Mwah. Bye-bye.